Typical standard to a Japanese woman's beauty is idolized with straight, mid-length dark hair, a thin frame, a turned-up petite pointed nose, short in stature, big eyes, small face, and fair skin. Being adorable or cute is more important in Japanese culture than being beautiful. Not hot or sexy, because that would be way too aggressive for the Japanese standards of beauty. Something that exhibits this standards are Japanese idols who are produced to be very childish and have the majority traits of what would be considered feminine, such as being submissive, soft-spoken, and polite. The word kawaii comes to mind. Kawaii means the quality of being cute or items that are cute, like Kuchikobi or Mini Tina. But this doesn't mean all Japanese women are adhering to this standard. While the rise of body positivity, fat acceptance, and health at every size in America is skyrocketing, I was wondering while I was watching One Piece during dinner, is one of the countries who are known for celebrating tiny, slim figures, seeing more acceptance of bigger bodies like in the US? Are any of the women fighting back against this very strategic body standard? And what happens when they do? Also, why are we so fat and they are so thin? I mean, I know the answer, but do we really know the answer in depth? Everyone sit back and relax while we explore the dangers of the Japanese beauty standard that are killing some citizens.
To the outside world, Japanese people tend to be stereotyped as skinny and small. But have you ever wondered what is considered fat in Japan?
Before we explore if body positivity and fat acceptance is affecting the Japanese culture, we need to understand the extreme importance looks, being cute, adorable, and youthful are to the Japanese people.
Japan is well known for the high beauty standards. Women are supposed to be always beautiful, and they are always trying. With such a high expectation, women don't hesitate to spend a lot of money for getting better looks. Actually, many foreign women coming to Japan are struggling with the high standards, since almost all the women around you are so beauty conscious and dressing so well, pretty much anywhere, every single day. Although many women are already beautiful, at least in my eyes, they don't believe so, and having such a low confidence in their looks. Even
It's no secret that Japanese women use products to enhance or even modify these features. In contrast to many women in the US who change their whole body, Japanese women seem to be very focused on their face, especially when it comes to plastic surgery. In Japan, 92% of surgeries are done on the face and head, eyelid surgeries in particular accounting for 60% of that, while breast augmentation and liposuction are more than a dozen% of surgeries in the world. There are only 3% in Japan. If you can't afford plastic surgery, there are other methods to fix your imperfection. Standard nose shape for an aged woman usually lays very flat on her face, and surgery can be a very pricey thing, but fear not. There are an array of beauty products that has a less significant price tag than surgery. Lip trainers, face expanders, face weavers, a shake weight but for your face. And what about the nose? How can we fix the Japanese nose? It's too squished in and close to the face, and we can't afford a nose job. Well, they got products for that, and they are all very weird and very uncomfortable looking. They even have nose exercises. This is a home fitness challenge for your nose. In America, we have fitness challenges for our bodies, but in Japan, you have to work out your nose to attain that beautiful, perfect nose. Though a youthful look is very desirable in the Japanese culture, you don't want to be too youthful, or in other words, too fat on the cheeks. These cheeks up here. You must be cute to be beautiful, but not curvy cute. That's a little too much. Beautiful skin is something else Japanese women need to be aware of to remain beautiful to the majority of the people. Too dark is a huge no-no, but like everything, there is historical reasons for that. The ideal of white skin has been widespread in Japan since the Nara period. During this time, Japanese women would use white powder on their face because using the powder expressed belonging to the highest class in society. Whiter skin just meant better, higher education, high social class, economic availability. Dark skin meant your ass worked outside as a slave. Although Western trends have a strong presence in Japan, the ancient canon of beauty associated with a white complexion has not lost its meaning or importance to the Japanese people.
Having a light skin, I think it is important here.
Skin tone matters nowadays, and they prefer the white ones.
When I was younger, they would always call me pretty but dark. Whatever that fair girl embodies in my head is just someone that's a little better than me.
Now with these beauty standards, of course there are exceptions. If you go to Japan, you will see people with crazy colored hair, not just super straight dark hair. You'll see darker skin, but just like any other country, they have the ideal beauty standard. Japan seems to be known for their extreme beauty standard, but another trait they're also related to is health. Many look at how thin the Japanese people are and think they're healthy. Their diet does consist of a lot of healthy food, fish, fruit, vegetables, lean proteins, and many people in the United States will hear that and think health. But surprisingly, Japan doesn't only have a problem with their citizens being stressed out about keeping up with what seems an impossible beauty standard, they also have a rising obesity issue. But the question I have, is body positivity to blame? Or are women just tired of fitting into this literal, extremely tiny box? While the obesity rate in Japan is immensely lower than that of America, with a tiny percentage of 3.6%, while America sits at a whopping 41.9%, who would have thought? Americans, we can do better. Come on, this is embarrassing. But those numbers are for obesity, and it's very low, extremely low, it's very well, but the numbers for overweight individuals have actually increased through the years between 2010 and 2019. Is it body positivity? Is it seeping its way into Japan?
Bellies in Japan are suddenly bad news. Proof, say waistline measurers like Dr. Yasuhiko Tomino, that Japan is getting fat.
Male obesity seems to be on the rise as well. As of 2019, close to 32% of Japanese men are classified as being overweight. Not obese, they're not quite there yet, but they're overweight. And that is a record high in the last decade. Now in America, we say our body, our choice. In Japan, the government gets involved. The Japanese government approved the Metabo law in 2008. Metabo meaning metabolic. This law is a risk prevention for generalized obesity. It was placed to decrease the rate of obesity in Japan. Can you imagine the temper tantrums if America passed some type of law like that? But is it really that intense? I really was interested in this because at first I was like, whoa, that's a little much. This must be very daunting to have the government involved in your personal life, personal choices, what you eat, and how big you are. Let's look a little more deeper into it. The local government gets involved as well as the employers to conduct an annual examination of your waistline. This examination affects people who are employed ages 40 to 74. Like I said, I know it sounds intense, but they are not fired if they're overweight or exiled from Japan, just throwing their fat body out of Japan and dropping them into America to add to our obesity issue. I mean, they will be loved and accepted here for their body, but that's not what they do. They are, however, subjected to counseling. The healthcare provider that examines you will suggest exercise options to help you lower your BMI. Many companies are putting in a lot of effort to squash the issue of fatness. One company gives all employees a pedometer, and winners who walk the most get a gift card. Another company is taking it to the next level and has employees take pictures of all their food and sends it to a team who will report whether they made a good food choice or a bad choice. Oh yeah, you get judged on what you eat and reported on. Now, are they doing this out of the kindness of their heart? No. The employees don't get in trouble by the government, but the employers do.
The company bottom line, that is, millions of dollars in penalties will be assessed unless companies can get employees to slim down.
Can anyone say fat phobia? Everyone on TikTok America can. There's actually quite a bit of people that complain about the Japanese culture when it comes to fat phobia.
I made this video about fat shaming in Japan, and I was not expecting it to get as many views as it did.
Again, before, one of the Olympic committee, Mori, said something very misogynistic, and at this time, one of creative director said something really fatphobic.
So I want to talk about a little bit of the many times of fat phobia that I've experienced. First one is from Japan.
Even though the citizens won't get fined for being obese or having a large waist, they still might get hit in their wallet. Many employers have said that if there is a promotional position between a fat man and a thin man, the thin man will most likely get the job because being obese means you most likely don't have the dedication, willingness, and drive to manage a business. I mean, how could you? You're fat. So now that we know there's laws in place to help keep people's waistlines in check, obesity in itself is looked at as lazy and you can't possibly even manage anything if you're obese. The need to be thin is probably very needed. You might say some people might even get desperate to lose weight, and when people get desperate, what do? Fad diets. It's always the fad diets. Mede taberu translates to eat with your eyes. It's an old Japanese saying in which sight is considered as important as taste and smell. Eating with our eyes in another context would be going to the grocery store in America while you're hungry. So everything you see, you just want to buy and quickly eat it. But it's very different in Japan. First, you taste by sight, then you eat with your mouth and your stomach. Many people believe this is another factor as to why Japanese people are so much slimmer than Americans. They're very mindful even before they eat their food, and the presentation must be well executed because, as you see, in Japan, looks seem to be paramount even when it comes to food. A quick TV dinner is not appropriate.
BMI って言ったかな、要するに体重と身長の関係。
But just like us, they have their lose weight fast diets and exercise doohickeys that will get you slim and trim and into that beauty standard. And it's your lucky day because we're gonna go through the weirdest, strangest, and most interesting one to help you look beautiful, because that's what you need to be successful.
And yes, this also exists in America, but in Japan, the amount of products that exist for weight loss is mind-boggling.
Being a big man in Japan, is that a problem?
No, too far. My body is so far.
Japan has a variety of lose weight, quick, and effortless doohickeys similar to America, from slim slippers that have the heel cut off so you walk on your toes and get very slim legs, to breathing exercises. Too much work for you? How about washing your fat away with diet soap? Japanese flour soap will only set you back about $17 here in the USA, and you can wash your cellulite away in the comfort of your shower. Hey, you got a gut? Don't look at me like that. It's not rude to ask. I'm trying to help you. With Wonder Core. Wonder Core is a comfortable way to do sit-ups. Oops, did you drop the soap that melts your fat away? Wonder Core is there to help you get back up. Is a man trying to steal your purse, girl? Got both of ya. Both of y'all safe. But my absolute favorite Japanese crash diet would be the morning banana diet. The diet came out in 2008 and was so popular that retailers started seeing bananas flying off their product stand, which caused a shortage for a time. The diet isn't as horrible as many other crash diets. I was expecting you only eat bananas in the morning and then you just starve for the rest of the day. No, you actually have a good amount of variety, and it suggested you be more mindful of what you're eating and when, such as eating dinner at 6 but not eating after 8. That's a huge no-no. It has the same issues as any crash diet, not taking in calories to consideration. Bananas every morning might get boring, and eating at certain times really doesn't do much. They also say that you can have a sweet snack, but they exclude things like donuts and chips. It leaves a lot to the imagination, and someone who's not educated on calorie intake, portion size, and just food in general most likely won't stick to it. As we know, thinness is a huge part of the Japanese culture. I hear many people talk about how toxic and dangerous Japanese culture is because of how tiny they want the women. How the women must suffer from eating disorders and anorexia is on the rise. So is it true? Is there a high percentage of women just suffering from anorexia and just withering away in Japan? Honestly, it gets pretty dark. Japan's success in avoiding the obesity problem hasn't addressed the other issues afflicting women's health who are underweight, such as suffering from osteoporosis and other nutritional deficiencies. The women suffering these costs are to the benefit of being perceived as cute and feminine in their society. Teen idols are one of the most concerning demographic of underweight individuals, and they are praised for their thinness, only motivating them to keep with it. Many idols get heavily critiqued on their body by the public, but they are also their own worst enemies. Idols will weigh around 80 to 90 pounds and gain around 4 pounds, then publicly call themselves fat, in which their fans will be influenced to think that an 80-90 pound person is now obese. This issue is so bad that many idols will regularly collapse on stage.
Most of them face tremendous pressure to keep the pure image for fans and make money for the management. Unsurprisingly, some just can't deal with it and even commit to suicide.
In Japan, you will still get bullied or receive rude comments if you are not slim like a model.
So fat shame in Japan, that's quite common. The last time I went back to Japan, my parents came to pick me up and I hadn't seen them for like 4 years. And the moment they saw me, they burst into laughing. And the first thing they said after not seeing their daughter for 4 years was, "Oh my god, you're so fat, I didn't even recognize you."
That's like that old school bully type shit. Japan records the highest rate of eating disorders and noticed a spike during the pandemic. The numbers of Japanese citizens under the age of 20 who were newly diagnosed with increased by about 160% in fiscal 2020 compared to the previous year. And some are blaming the virus. Many students only had time to socialize during lunch, but during the pandemic, anti-COVID rule dictates that even during lunch, students have to sit alone while eating. No talking allowed for fear of spreading the virus. The kids tend to turn to social media and idols, which then influences their motivation to practice unhealthy practices. According to Japanese citizens who struggle with eating disorders, say they're extremely common, but in Japan, people don't really care about mental health issues. People just avoid talking about them.
けど実はそうなっている人とかいるんじゃないかなと思います。
じゃあ自分が摂食障害になっていることを周りの友達って知ってました？
友達は知らないと思います。でも急に痩せたなっていうのは。
Japan is a culture of conformity where people are expected to fit in to the norm. People feel an embarrassment to have a mental illness.
Japanese doctors have even spoken out at how the healthcare system are failing the people, especially teenage girls who are affected the most by this. President of the Japan Society for Eating Disorders said it's often too late by the time the patient is seen in the hospital. Their condition is very severe. Sometimes they're even close to death. This is actually becoming a very, very big problem because Japanese women being underweight as adults is a big issue with the rise of older generations filling nursing homes and needing help due to their bodies being so malnourished in their early years. Very, very similar to people who are overweight in America, extremely obese, morbidly obese in their younger years. It really affects, even if they do start to lose weight when they get older, the effects kind of already settle in and some of the damage is not reversible. So this is a lot, and some women are tired. They are fighting against the stereotype with body positivity and saying, I'm fat, so what? Western society standards for body positivity comes in many forms. Music like Lizzo, models like Ashley Graham, actress Chrissy Metz, and comedian Melissa McCarthy. Social media also roots for all kinds of shapes and sizes for this movement. It's become so popular that women have been showing off more and more skin regardless of what their BMI states and what the scale reads. So what does Japan have in the East? Are they keeping up with body positivity? Statistics say kinda. The stats suggest the desire for greater body diversity in Japan media emerged. However, findings suggest body positive messaging is scarce and mainly limited to high-profile celebrities. Pretty much not the average everyday woman down the street. You have to have money, status, a following to be able to be respected for coming out of that status quo. Naomi Watanabe is from Taiwan, but raised in, I'm having a lot of trouble with these names, Ibaraki, Japan? Y'all will tell me I know it. She's a social media star who weighs twice as much as the average woman in her country, but she is an idol. She's chubby and proud. While she isn't fitting the body stereotype in Japanese culture, she is still seen as cute and bubbly, which remember, cute is very important to Japanese people. She wasn't always chubby though. She was thin and shy growing up, but was also known as funny by her peers and always wished to be in showbiz. Not only was Naomi into being a comedian, but she also loved fashion. But she had a very difficult time being in Japan, unable to find clothes that fit her, at the same time actually stylish. Very hard combination to find if you're bigger and need something cute. It just doesn't go together. Well, while many others will do a banana diet or walk on their toes in their slippers all day at their house, Naomi decided, no, I'll do my own thing. In 2014, she started her own brand called Punius, which means chubby in Japanese. Idols are a big sensation for Japanese girls, but these idols that I'm about to tell you about are not your average J-pop stars. Meet Big Angel, the fattest J-pop idol group in Japan. The leader of Big Angel, Mi-chan, is in charge of fried chicken.
はい、ビッグエンジェルのリーダー、唐揚げ担当、167センチ、体重、今日の体重100。
I'm not sure what that means, but she states that the group is the fallen angel idol. The story goes as follows. According to Mi-chan, she says that since we were eating too much in heaven every day, we've become fallen angels from being overweight. We sing and dance, and we hopefully lose weight to go back to heaven eventually. These women in Japan seem to be able to get away with not fitting completely into the Japanese standard of beauty because, once again, they have very cute faces. Big Angel was not expecting the positive response as an obese J-pop group, but as they grew, so did their audience. I'm not saying they got fat, I'm saying that they got a lot of fans. But also their fans say they don't feel the pressure to diet anymore, so maybe they will gain weight as well. Now we covered the side that is too big with body fat, but what about being big in another way? What about the female Japanese bodybuilders? Well, they are breaking the mold with force with their bulging biceps and bodybuilding championships, tearing down the fabric that upholds the gender stereotype that women have to endure in Japan for attractiveness. Kawaii cuteness and softness is out, muscle is in. But that still doesn't mean Japanese men will accept muscle-bound women. The conversation about muscular women in Asia never crossed my mind until I came across a clip of a Korean woman with a very cute face who walked out on stage with all the appropriate features that is deemed beautiful in Korea. The beauty standards are not exactly the same as Japan, but they have similarities. Dark hair, youthful face, big eyes, slim body. But then she rips off all her clothes to reveal that she is not as cute as you would think she was. But we will jump back to Japan and leave the Korea deep dive for another day. But some of these women don't care. In fact, there's a whole bar in Japan of women who are fighting against the cute submissive stereotype. If you're ever in Ikebukuro, Tokyo, and you want women who will flex their muscles with confidence, you're gonna have to hit up the Muscle Girl bar. I wanna go so bad. These muscle-bound women will be flexing, being eccentric, and welcome and praise strength. One woman in particular used to belong to an idol group but struggled with keeping the extremely tiny figure. She felt so much shame when she couldn't stick to a diet so that she could lose more weight and be accepted as beautiful. Eventually, she found weightlifting and found that she felt so much better mentally. She felt strong, and after a while, her body started to change. She definitely did not attain the traditional Japanese body type, but what she got was something that she really liked. And these type of women are motivating many other Japanese women to be strong and healthier. Earlier, we spoke about the fattest J-pop group, but there's also the strongest J-pop idol, Saiki Eureka. Not only is she a music idol, but she's also a professional wrestler. Saiki says she gets many comments about her appearance because her body really doesn't match with her cute face. She has no luck when it comes to dating Asian men, but Westerners absolutely love her body.
多分男性が好きな女の子ってか弱くて俺が守ってあげなきゃっていうタイプだと思うんですよ。私逆に守ってあげようって。
Something I notice with all of these women is that they struggle a lot in the dating department. But at the same time, they don't seem upset that many men or people don't find them attractive. They seem to have a lot of respect that people have their ideal vision of beauty. They understand that people have their opinion and they realize that they won't be like everyone else. Nobody cried, nobody threw a temper tantrum. I think it's something Americans could learn from. Not everyone's going to find you attractive or want to date you. I got the vibe that these women will continue to make themselves happy, and if someone comes along who can appreciate it, then great. For now, many of them said that it's more important that people find their muscles cool than finding a man that's attracted to them. And I personally think they found the key to happiness, which is being who they choose to be and living the life that they want. There's no secret that Japan has the opposite problem of the US, but it's very nice to see some of the women who are very focused on health. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think the Japanese people will ever accept the fact? Will they accept the phrase, the bigger is better? Or will the status quo remain tiny, cute, and submissive? You let me know in the comment section. I'm very curious to hear what you guys say. Thank you so much for being here. Japanese culture is so interesting to me. I'm learning the language at a snail pace. You see, I struggled with just some of the names in this video, but I plan on visiting in the future, and I have to say, doing this video has me interested. How the hell will the Japanese people view me? Dark, loud, opinionated, and muscular? That's not cute, according to the Japanese standards. What is it like being black in Japan?
18ぐらい。
Yeah, Dev.
I'm so shocked.
But that's for another day, another video. And if you enjoyed this one, please subscribe. We have so many more videos similar to this one. Deep dives coming up, thick, like the American people. Please enjoy your day, be healthy, go pet a dog or a cat or stare at a goldfish. I don't know, whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone. I wish all the women in the video and you, all the people watching, the best. And I will see you guys next time.